organize my world building into a place that actually looks good and something that I can actually digest and make sense for me as a writer. Hey Writerly besties, it's Anna. Welcome to my channel. If you're new, hi, my name is Anna and I love to write. However, in today's video, I'm going to be teaching you how to plan your book from scratch and basically how to world build your novel, your story, your world from the ground up. Sometimes when you stare at a blank page where you're supposed to plot and like organize everything, the characters, the world, the magic systems, everything just seems so much. So today I'm going to be showing you the best and easiest and less stressful sort of way for any writer to world build their book. I am so excited to introduce you guys to Campfire. Campfire, right, is what I actually use now to develop my world building for all of my books, and I'm so excited to share with you exactly how I plot and organize my maps, my magic system notes, my characters even into one amazing organized place. So I really encourage you guys to go ahead and click the link in the description so you can join Campfire and organize your whole story in one place with me. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get on to the video. Okay, so to first start off with, I really want to give you a tour of my Campfire Write sort of dashboard and kind of where I have all of my different things for my new novel, and I'm so excited for this project. If you maybe have watched a lot of my other videos, I actually am so excited to kind of update you guys that I'm going to be working on Project CZ finally during this next year. With this project, I actually did try to world build it in my own document, but it just ended up being so messy and I was not very organized. It was just one huge, you know, Word document that really didn't have any sort of way where I can navigate easily, where I can actually have like everything in one place and it's more uniform and pretty and aesthetic. So I actually started to use Campfire, and through that I was able to kind of have all those things in one place and properly organize my world building into a place that actually looks good and something that I can actually digest and make sense for me as a writer. So I'll have this on the screen so you guys can see exactly what I'm looking at and my beautiful home page. As a kind of note, I might need to blur some things out just for like privacy reasons in terms of like my project and its details. However, I should keep most things like pretty visible. But here's my adorable little dashboard. I love it so much. It was so easy to set up and the interface on Campfire is literally beautiful. I was so surprised that everything was really easy to learn. So of course I have my Project CZ right here, which is like the title of this particular project. Again, you can make multiple. And down here I have my Project Home, which has like all my characters, my manuscript page, my location and map, and like all these different things are literally in here. So I don't have to go ahead and go to Google Docs. I don't have to actually even go to my Pinterest page. Everything is here and accessible, and if I need to jump around, it's so easy and efficient to do that. So this is kind of like my little dashboard, and it has all these tabs in it. You can close and open them, which is really great. But I have all these different things that I'm going to be showing you very soon. Over here I have some pinned sort of pages which I visit very often, such as Dell, who's my main character. I really look at her sort of character profile quite a lot so I can kind of accurately write her when I'm writing my book. World building also was such a big one. I go there all the time into this little tab, which helps me a lot with just like you know, remembering things, because this is a huge fantasy novel and it's so hard to stay focused sometimes. And down here I have my manuscript page, which is literally where I write my book, and you can write it here in Campfire, which is so great. Up the top here I have just a photo of my Pinterest page, which I love so much, and it just helps me get inspired of the things that I'm, you know, gonna write in this book, and it just helps me so much and I love it. Like it makes me so excited. Down here is just like a recents tab, so if I've just recently visited my manuscript, I will just be able to just click on here by saying read more, and it's so fun. And down here is just kind of like notes, and this is kind of just like my current plan really in terms of my plotting and like my creating of my campfire file, which I've just recently done, and I love it so much so far. So this is just kind of like a future projections, future progress sort of notes tab. So with that done, I'm gonna go ahead and actually show you some individual pages and actually telling you exactly what you should be thinking about and all your different pages you should have in order to successfully write your book, plan your world, your story, your plot. But also I'm going to be making sure that you guys don't, you know, go on a huge tangent and write too much, because by doing that you're going to be caught up so much in the world building process that you're not going to be able to ever get to writing your book. So I'm going to go ahead and teach you guys exactly what you need and the pages that you should have in your campfire document. So first up, you're going to be needing characters. So I recently have created 3 character profiles of my 3 kind of main characters at the moment. I hope to actually continue making my other characters because I have a lot of characters in this project. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys exactly what my character profiles look like. So I'm going to be clicking on it there. And here we have Del Hargreaves, who is the main character of my book. Again, I have a lot of characters, but Del is the number 1. Over here I have attributes, and again, these are the certain specific things that I really encourage you guys to make sure you have in these individual categories. So this category is characters, obviously, and these are the categories you should have in the character category. Lots of categories, I know. But first you need your bio, which is kind of like your character's biography, personality, I don't know. It's kind of basically what you would have to kind of understand who they are as like objectively as just a human, for example. So these include like age, height, you know, gender, sexuality, where they're from, their race. And then down below I actually have some sayings. I really love to actually create sayings and just kind of like add that in there because I think that's something not many people do in terms with dialogue. I love dialogue, so like kind of having little things that remind me of what this character says helps me get into their head a little bit better. Over here we have a photo of Del's profile, and that's just kind of a profile photo, and of course I think it's really important to have that there. Of course, a big sort of by the way sort of thing is that if you want to create your characters, I have an Artbreeder tutorial that a lot of you guys have found so helpful. I'll link it up there in the iCard for you guys to have a look. I use Artbreeder again for creating all my character profiles. So yeah, this is how I created Del, and if you want to go ahead and yeah, watch that video after that one, I really recommend it. Down below we have character, and this is literally the personality of your character, and I usually like to just kind of not do dot points, not just do like she's funny. I like to really get into detail, but still keep it as short as possible. Again, this is just 2 little paragraphs. I'm not going completely in depth because again, something I should kind of preface is to make sure you don't go crazy on making a sort of character profile that kind of details exactly what your character is, because you don't really know them until you write your book. And in that, it's kind of like a message of this whole video, and that is to make sure you just, you know, understand that your book can only be planned to a certain extent until you actually write your book. So in terms of characters, don't go crazy on your character story and just like what they are, their backstory. Of course, have a really good idea, but don't be obsessed about it, because again, your characters will tell you, you know, who they are when you write your book. In traits, we have the physical appearance, the powers, abilities, position, and strengths and weaknesses. A big sort of trait that I really encourage you guys to remember is strengths and weaknesses. Make sure your characters have strengths. Make sure they have weaknesses, especially weaknesses. Something also really fun is fears and phobias. I like to add this a lot when I'm writing my characters because I think it's just so fun and funny, and also just deepens, you know, who they are as a character, and it's really entertaining too to just create. But in terms of all these different traits, it's kind of, you know, very obvious. Really depends if you're writing a fantasy book. This is a very heavy freaking fantasy. So of course, my characters have powers. Yeah, I know. But yeah, that's kind of like the overall character profile that I created for Campfire. if I go back and maybe have a look at Avon, so this is my second main character. He's also the love interest of Dell, if you guys were interested. But yeah, it's very, very similar. I just copied and pasted the template. And something that's also really great with Campfire is you can move your little boxes around everywhere, and you can kind of create your little template down here. You can add text, add a list, add stats. There's different things that really allow you to like cater your sort of boxes and your organization to your project, which is something I completely love. For example, if you wanted to add maybe a new list to kind of organize your work, what you can do is, yeah, click on that, name your list. So maybe I wanted to go into the backstory of Avon. Then I can create a list item and say maybe age 0 to 12, and then start writing his backstory. And this you can kind of shuffle around, you can minimize, you can do basically whatever you want with it, and it's something so great. And you can choose a color and like personalize it. It's so amazing. And you can change the color, which is really great. So maybe if you wanted to make it stand out, you can choose yellow. If you're maybe working on the backstory and writing a chapter in the backstory, you can personalize it on here. But I'm going to delete this. But yeah, it's so easy to create new tables to really personalize your thing. You can shuffle it around. And yeah, just a reminder that you can personalize every single page in Campfire, which is amazing. Okay, so with that done, I'm going to be going down to my list again. And next up, the next thing you need for world building and developing and planning your story is actually, if I scroll down, to world building. So world building has a huge sort of tab I have right here, and I'm going to click that. And wow, this is my favorite sort of page, but it is the most crazy to look at. It's insane. So again, this is the second category, which is world building, and this has to do with history, powerful places, realms, government. Those are the main sort of subcategories in the category of world building. Again, this is such a big part, so I'm going to probably make this a bit longer of a section to talk about and let you guys in on, and just explaining, you know, exactly what you should have in this category. So history, to begin with, is very important. Is to basically try to understand where your world came to be, like what was the birth of your world. Again, it really depends on if you're writing a huge fantasy novel or not, but usually if you're writing a fantasy novel and you have world building, this is something that you really are gonna need. History is basically your prologue because it introduces everything to the story, and especially the history. This was so fun for me to write, and I just wrote, again, a lot. You can see it has like a scrolling option because I just written quite a lot, but again, I tried to make it as short as possible and digestible for a normal person to understand, because sometimes it's hard. So make sure you do go in steps and take your time with this. The next thing is government. Government is important. It really is, I think, something that's really fun but also tedious to create. It kind of has to do with, again, your sort of hierarchy, the different people in your world, the rules, the laws, the decrees that maybe have been signed, the history between nations. Like, this is all what you have, and this is a huge tab, and I've really expanded and even created, like, for example, down here I have the 4 decrees that were created to ensure peace and lawfulness, like thou shalt obey the Holy One, thou shalt pose mercy. You know, these are things that you should go into detail, because this honestly is the main part of the government and the sort of worldly creation and the sort of ruling over the land in the story. So again, be in detail, but don't go too crazy into, for example, all these specific decrees or all these specific hierarchies in every single specific nation. Just be broad and really pick out the main things in your story. Next up is powerful places. So this is just kind of like similar to government, places that are kind of important in your book, that can include, like, yeah, nations, kingdoms, castles, different civilizations, maybe like historic civilizations, magic people, like whatever you want. It really depends on your story, but again, my most powerful place is the city, which is where my story takes place. Over here we have realms. So again, it needs to be very specific to your story. You might have a huge magic system in your book. In my case, I don't really. I just have lots of different realms, and within those realms there are different people with different magic systems, but I don't go into detail with that right here. So again, your subcategories within the world building subcategory can include all these different things. I'll put them all on the screen of just like potential things, because again, it really does depend on your project and what you're working on, but for me, I just have these main 4. So yeah, that's my world building page. If we go back to my dashboard and go down to my list, I'm gonna go ahead and look at map. So map is actually a really fun thing that I've decided to include in today's sort of world building video, because I feel like that's such a big thing and part of your plan and part of you sort of imagining your story, where it's set, the places. It's basically the places sort of thing. I kind of guess it really does have to do with world building and like, you know, the government or the realms, you know, but for me, the map is a little bit different, so I've decided to create it in a different sort of tab. So I'm gonna go ahead and click that right now. And here it is. So this is the elven world of my story, and it's kind of like hard to explain. I would love to go into detail of what my story is about and the different portals and how it leads to this world, but again, we're focusing on maps right now. So Anna, don't go too crazy. But here I have a photo of my map. Again, you can use these little things such as like measurement, which kind of helps you measure the amount of sort of pixels, which can maybe, you know, convert into kilometers. So in this case, across the world, it is 15 kilometers, for example. It's obviously going to be more than that, but you get what I mean. You can also add labels here, which is actually so interesting, and it can help you maybe kind of, you know, add more detail about your story. So maybe there's this sea dragon that appears every 10 decades, for example, and you can have that right here. And up the top, again, with Campfire, everything's about personalization and catering your own story and your own planning to your actual book you're writing, and it's so great. I can personalize, you choose a different sort of font, go up here and change the color to maybe white, because I like white a lot. And then there we go, we have that, and we can pop that right there, and that's just a little bit of a tab that kind of helps you get into more detail about your story. If you're curious about how I created my map, I use Incarnate, and this was the map that I actually created, and it's so fun. I love this website. It's free, totally free, and you can create your own maps, which is so fun. The last thing you should have in your Campfire document is your manuscript page. If you didn't know, I'm just gonna click that, but if you didn't know yet, you can literally work on your manuscript page within this website, which is amazing and so great. So by having everything in one place, it just makes everything so better. You can see here it says work in progress, and that's because I'm actually starting draft 1 again, and that's why I'm planning everything again now, because I've realized that my manuscript that I've written is not a great start to my book, since I wrote this story like a few years ago when I was only starting writing, and my whole style has changed since then. So that's why I have created a manuscript page which has nothing in it yet. But here in Campfire, you can literally create different contents, even have a notepad if you want to kind of have little notes like, remember, fix plot hole. That's something I have to do when I plan. And this has basically everything you need to create a manuscript document, and it's really great because it's online, it saves automatically, and it's so great because again, it's connected to all your world building, all your planning for your whole novel. The last sort of category you need for your world building, and I think this is so necessary, and I guess I should have started with this sort of page, but that is to create a brain dump page. I am yet to kind of create mine, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how to do that right now. So basically I'm transferring like all of my sort of plans to Campfire, because I'm gonna be using this forever. Like Campfire is, I will sell my soul to Campfire because it's amazing. Again, make sure you guys click the link to check them out. But if we go back to Campfire, I'm gonna probably create it under manuscript. So I'm gonna be plussing that over here and selecting a photo. I like to just select random photos to kind of help me inspire myself. So I'm gonna be naming this Rain Dump Document, and that's so easy. You can also add a description, which would be fun. I'll just say like all my messy thoughts of draft 1. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually pull a lot of my chapter sort of word dumps, sorts of like build up ideas, my subplot, every little thing. And again, the main thing that I have in my brain dump document is just thoughts. So that includes this messy thing. And I might be, of course, blurring a lot of stuff out just because it's my plan and it's probably very messy. I don't want you guys to see my mistakes. But also plot twists are so great. I have a whole bunch of plot twists that I'm going to be copying and pasting into this document because I think even though it is brain dump, try to keep it as organized as possible. And also false clues and real clues. I brain dumped this all into this particular document and I'm going to be just transferring it. But again, false clues and real clues are so important because this actually helps you foreshadow plot twists and things in your books. And like, so for example, if maybe your character is bad or kind of it builds up to a place where, you know, it's gonna be like a reveal that, hey, I've been betraying you this whole time. You can also brainstorm stuff about characters, about world building, about the plot, about your messages you want to write in this book and the motifs and the themes that you want. Try to keep it organized through using paragraphing. So now I have my awesome brain document that I just showed you how to create. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching this video. It really does mean so much. I really hope this helped you guys in order to kind of allow you to plot and plan and create a good sort of foundation for your novel whenever you're starting to plan and brainstorm. Because again, it's so important to have a place where you have everything there and it's all going to be saved online. So that's why I really encourage you guys to go ahead, check out Campfire because they're amazing, they're awesome, and I really love their work, their interface. It just works for every writer and I bet it will work for you. However, thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye!